Hey Karen, I'm curious, what are a couple of the biggest mistakes you see people make when they're growing leaders? Asking for a friend. Hi, I'm Karin Hurt, and I'm here with our next edition of Asking for a Friend from the road from Washington, D.C. And this question came in from one of our leadership development programs this past week. Here are a couple, and then I'd be really curious as to what you would add. The first is, when you're growing leaders, a big mistake you can make is not modeling the way. I can't tell you how many times we'll be doing a leadership development program and someone will raise their hand and say, "This is fantastic. Have you taught my boss?" And so make sure that if you are encouraging people to do certain behaviors and to lead in a human-centered way, that that's how you're showing up too. The second is to make sure that you are giving them the real feedback that they need. I remember one time I had a guy on my team who had something that he really, it was an area that he really needed to focus on. It was clearly going to derail his career. And when I gave him the feedback, he said, "Karin, nobody has ever told me this before." And I was, what? So I got in the elevator, I went down and I talked to his previous manager. He's like, "Yeah, I mean, he was doing good with everything else, so I just didn't think it was that important to bring up." It was important to bring up. So that's the second. And finally, the third is to make sure that when you are focusing on something, that your feedback isn't vague. So you need to get better at critical thinking. You need to be more empathetic. You need to be more strategic. I can tell you, I have people call me all the time and say, "What in the world does that mean?" So if you can help break that down into specific behaviors and tactics that they can do and scaffold that along the way, that will make the difference. So those are three big mistakes that I see. What would you add?